Sperm whale jizz, fucking gross.
This shit's fucking hilarious, man. It's this Dirty Work movie. It came out in 1998 with Norm Macdonald. Yeah, this dude passed away a couple days ago, man. I was like, what the fuck, Norm Macdonald? Said he's been battling cancer for 9 years and shit. And that's pretty strong, battling for 9 years. It takes a lot of balls to battle for that 9 years, man. It's tough, you know. It's tough to battle cancer. You know. So I'll do a review on this movie that he was in. Well, this is like the only movie he actually was in that he was the main character. Everything else, he was like a side character or something. Like Billy Madison, he was Billy Madison's lazy friend, a bald guy who looks just like the comedian here, the fat guy here, comedian, but it's totally different people. I forgot who the other guy's name was in Billy Madison, the other fat dude you hanged out with. This, I forgot what his fucking name is. I tried to look it up. But Dirty Work 1998. So this movie is, like I said, it's fucking hilarious, man. It's just like comedy gold. This, I started watching this at the beginning of this film, and I was like, you know, I can't really get into this, but I keep watching it more and more. I was like, this shit's fucking hilarious, man. So to start off, Norm Macdonald, you know, he talked about his flashback when he was a kid and whatnot. Him and his buddy, Artie Lange, that was the Artie Lange, his comedian's name. Him and his buddy Artie Lange were kids. He used to goof off and get people in trouble. Like one kid, he put a bunch of guns in his desk and he got the kid in trouble. Or that one time they get that pervert back from grabbing kids' asses. This what was this school guard guy outside with a stop sign and shit. He always grabbed kids' ass and walking by, and Norm got him back by putting glue on his ass so the hand can't get off of it. Hey, look, this guy is grabbing an 8-year-old's butt. Look, everybody. So he got that dude back, got him cuffed. It's like, well, I mean, even with that kid, he did it on purpose because he probably was a bully to them, probably. So that's the whole movie. The whole movie is them getting back at everybody, basically. But then later on, Norm's mom died in the movie. Mitch's mom. His character name's Mitch. His mom died and all that. Now he's like, he doesn't have anybody besides his friend and his friend's father. All that. Now he grew up. Now he's going through things like job struggles. Like he keeps getting laid off from his jobs, getting fired. Like that Italian job he had. He tried to make an excuse, but that didn't work. He got fired. Then his girlfriend throwing out his shit out of his house and kicked him out of the apartment. And all these other people took his clothes and shit. They robbed his clothes. All he has is like a popcorn maker machine. There's something he had left. So he drove over to his friend's house, Artie Lange's house, and he told him, come inside, you know, we got a place for you and shit. And this fat guy, has his shirt, has Norm's shirt. Hey, that's my shirt, buddy, give my shirt back. The dude takes his shirt off, like he got a whole bunch of hair all over him, like he's a freaking caveman and shit. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? But it looks like pubes, though, over his body. And like, Norm's like, okay, no, keep the shirt, keep it. Oh, okay. So now he lives with his friend Artie and his dad now. Artie's dad. Like he lives with them and shit. And Artie's dad, he's like a big old pervert. He can be a douche at times, but he's a funny douche. You know, he's like a big old pervert. He like watching these chicks exercise on TV and shit and all that. Then one day, his dad got sick and he's in the hospital. And now they gotta pay for the hospital bills to get his heart, transplant and stuff. And doctor is Chevy Chase. He's in here. He plays the doctor. He was funny. Yeah, so they gotta figure out, they gotta go to these different jobs, they gotta deal with this, they gotta go to this place, test out, eat these brownies or something like that, and freaking Norm Macdonald hallucinates while Artie Lang's is fine. He just read a newspaper in the car. Norm Macdonald's like freaking out, his face is all blistered and shit. He keep hallucinating, seeing these fucking Gary Coleman in the car with him, and he's like in hell or something. And Adam Sandler's the devil, he's like, they talking all weird as shit. And freaking Gary Coleman makes a different Strokes joke, like, what are you talking about, devil or something, whatever he said. So yeah, that scene happened. I was like, that shit was funny as fuck. And he's like, Artie's like, nothing bothers me at all. I'm just reading a newspaper. It doesn't really bother me. Let's find a different job. So now this other job they went to now, this job's with Don Rickles. That's right, Don Rickles. So Artie Lang's, Norm Macdonald's new job is they work at a movie theater. And, you know, they serve popcorn and shit. Don Rickles is their boss. Don Rickles. He's their boss, and freaking, he's making fat jokes to Artie Lang, talk about ice cream and stuff. Which flavor of ice cream. He's like making jokes at his belly or stuff like that. I was like bust out laughing, because Don Rickles is a comedy legend, man. He's comedy king of roasting. He's the god of roasting, man. And that's the movie I really started liking Don Rickles, man. I was like, this dude's fucking hilarious. He's like making all these fat jokes and shit. And then he roasts Norm Macdonald. He's like, he has the personality of a moth or something like that. I was like, that shit's hilarious. And you know, now like they decided like to get him back now because someone, I think someone like paid him to do it or something like that. Someone paid him to get Don Rickles back. And like, oh yeah, I think they play some weird shit, like some Batman like fucking somebody or something like that on the screen of the movie, and everyone freaked out and left the theaters. They run over Don Rickles. Don Rickles fell over, the popcorn all over him, and the guy paid him the money after getting them back and shit. Now they have an idea. Now the two decide to open up their own business called, you know, getting dirty work done and stuff like that. So they open up their own business and stuff, you know. This hot lady comes by and shit, you know, like Norm wants to get with this chick and whatnot. And they got to figure out how to get their business bigger. So they decided to crash somebody else's commercial, some motor vehicle commercial or something. So they decided to crash that, which is, you know, Champ Kind. That's his business that they crashed. I forgot what his real name was. Let me look it up. I forgot what's Champ Kind's real acting name. I gotta look it up. He's a funny ass dude. He plays the guy that owns the motor vehicles and shit. Let me see here. Oh, what's his fucking name? Dude's name. I think it was. Okay, Dave Koechner, I think. That's how you pronounce it, David Koechner. He's a funny ass dude. So he owns all these cars and stuff. He's trying to do a commercial, and then Norm Macdonald shows up. He's like, "Look at this! Oh my God, it's got a dead hooker in here." So what? There's no dead hooker in here. Look, there's a dead hooker in here. Oh my God, there's a dead hooker. So what? There's a dead hooker. It's like that shit's like the funniest shit in the movie. Like, what the funniest shit? Like got dead hookers in a car. Well, they weren't dead. They're just making like they're dead and shit. And like Norm's like, "Come down to my place" and shit. Oh, like, that was the best shit ever, the best commercial ever they ever did. That was the funniest commercial they could ever did in the movie. I was like, that was funny as fuck. Like, oh, there's a dead hooker in here. It's what? There's a dead hooker. Yeah, I could not stop laughing at that part. It's like, it's like some Family Guy shit. But this was like before Family Guy happened. Norm's a genius. I think like Family Guy like stole his fucking his jokes and shit somehow. Freaking Seth MacFarlane like stole Norm Macdonald's jokes. I mean, even though Norm Macdonald was in the show like the earlier seasons, he played deaf. The irony in that. But yeah, so after that, it was a success. It worked. A whole bunch of people started showing up, asking shit to get done and all that. And now he goes to the back to the hospital to visit, you know, Artie's dad. And Artie's dad had to tell Norm by himself about that he is related to Artie Lange, that they're brothers in the movie. And he was like, he told him to do not tell Artie about it. Things are not gonna go so well if you tell him about it. He really wanted to tell him that, but he grabbed him by the balls. I think he grabbed Norm by the balls, like, don't you tell him. I was like, oh, okay, I won't tell him. He fucking squeezes his balls. I was like, that's just hilarious. Oh yeah, I forgot about one part of the movie. This part where Norm Macdonald, he always like talking his recorder thing. He always like note to self. Like everything he says, like you gotta be like note to self about something, just in case it reminds him about something later on. Which it's a big important thing of this movie, his recorder. We're gonna talk about it later. So the next thing now, they're at the circus, and this midget guy wants to get rid of this bearded lady and ask her to get rid of her. So the way they got rid of her is they shave her beard off. Pretty simple, right? And she freaks out about it. Then the next one, this guy lives in the suburbs, and he calls, the dude over, and he's tired of all this loud ass music, all these playing these cars and shit driving around, and he wanted him to stop the music and stuff like that. He wanted him to stop all that shit. So Norm and Artie decided, to put fishes all over the mansion and stuff. And it turns out it's a mafia going on in the house, and they all kill each other after seeing all these fishes everywhere and shit. It's like they all kill each other, and they like, let's get out of here before the cops show up. So you gotta get out of there quick. And they still, they don't have enough money yet. Still, they're still under the money to help the father get heart surgery and stuff. So it's still need a lot more money to get him his heart. So then, Artie finds out there's a message on the voicemail. Find out it's just Don Rickles calling him fat and making fat jokes again. And I started bust out laughing. Oh, it's Don Rickles again. I was like buzz out laughing at shit. So then the old lady wanted those two for help, asking, they're trying to bulldoze the place and stuff like that. So they decided to have an idea to blow out the bulldozer with a bunch of popcorn and shit. And the cops had to go there to the place to figure out what's going on. Well, at the dirty workplace, which the cops put them in jail, and now they're stuck there for a little while Norm gets raped by these guys. He gets gangbanged or something. Then it cuts to Shooter McGavin. He plays this rich bad guy, which he always plays a bad guy like every movie. Ever since Happy Gilmore, he always been a bad guy. Christopher McDonald. So he was the one who wanted that place to get bulldozed in the first place. That's why they're in jail. So he's talking to his boys and shit. And he's like, he got an idea that he's gonna bail them out. He could do work for him, do dirt work for him instead. Then Norm gets he was gonna get gang raped, gang banged or what. He was like, it's a shame for you guys. It's a shame for you. What's wrong with you guys? I should tell the warden about this. It's a shame. So to get out, and all that shit. So Shooter gets them out of jail, and Norm makes a joke that he's butt fucking a dog with his finger, which I thought that was hilarious. So Shooter decides to hire these guys. He wants them to get rid of this whorehouse. He wanted to destroy it and wreck it up. And Mitch wants $50,000, and he's like, deal, sure, you give you $50,000. Then he go visit the hospital again and talk to now his father now. And when freaking Artie wanted to go talk to freaking Dr. Chevy Chase, freaking he about to pull out what was the name? Artie's dad pulls out a freaking book, and freaking Norm jumps, thinking he's gonna beat his ass or something again. So he started showing these pictures of him, fucking his mom or something like that. He's like, oh god, all that shit. So the next thing decided, they put flyers on these people's doors and stuff like that at the whorehouse, something like that. It said, you gotta leave the house, there's got termites in here, and they figure out a blueprint. And the girl that Norm likes, his grandma lives there and stuff like that. She runs the whorehouse. So they're like, fuck it, let's do it anyway. So they start bashing, breaking shit, putting fishes again in there in place like they did the last time, putting fishes and stuff. And they went home celebrating, drinking beers, and it turns out the place that they destroyed was the same guy that owns their building, the dirty work facility place. And they're about to get fucking screwed. They find out, if he finds out that they fucked this whole whorehouse. Well, really, it wasn't really a whorehouse. The dude lied basically. It's actually a sewing business. She ran for 30 years, the old lady. So they got fucked over because Shooter McGav's an asshole. He's like in every movie he's like an asshole. Like I said, the Happy Gilmore, this superhero movie. I keep going on and on. So the two decided to go beat the man, but the bodyguards got in their way and said they no longer need their help anymore. And Norm said he wanted to get him on the phone or something like that, but Artie, dumbass, said, "We're gonna kick your guys' asses. We're gonna kick his ass up there." You thinking that guy's actually gonna do anything? Yeah, Artie, you and Norm take on a bunch of like 7 bodyguards, and they gonna go upstairs to beat his ass. So yeah, you sure are gonna do that. So he threw Norm's ass, sent him flying. But Artie, they just pushed Artie. It's like, what the fuck? So you know he's too fat to throw him. So I can understand. But you know Norm's skinny, so he's easy to throw. So like, fuck it, right? And these homeless guys, they decided to pay these 3 homeless guys. Which one of them looks familiar? It sits with these, all 3 of them sitting next to each other. These homeless guys. Like one of them was like wearing a South Park hat, Cartman's hat. One of them was wearing. You know Cartman. You remember Cartman from South Park? He wears that hat, blue, yellow hat. That's what like one of the homeless mans wears. He wears one of the hats. I guess Norm's a big fan of South Park. Yeah, one of the homeless men looked familiar. Look at he's from some other movie. Oh yeah, actually, I do remember him something. He was a judge in Billy Madison, where Norm Macdonald was in that also. Which he also was in, Saturday Night Live. His name is Jim Downey. You remember him in Billy Madison, where he played the judge of the the competitions between Billy and Eric, and he was talking shit about his wife and shit, and he'll flip out if someone cheats because his wife cheated on him. So he want nobody cheating or anything like that in this whole competition. And he was funny as fuck, Jim Downey. He's been playing the judge of the competition between the two. Especially the whole trivia part where, all the questions are up there, like dog poo and the human response, my wife's a tramp, and, business ethics and shit like that. And when like Eric flips out, he didn't even care. He just stands there like laid back. He didn't know he had nothing else to do with his life anymore. He's like, fuck it. He doesn't even care anymore. He just stands there. Wow, he's not even panicking or anything. He just stands there normally. He's like, what the fuck is going on here? But you know what? Imagine if someone actually cheated in that Billy Madison competition thing between Eric and Billy. Imagine how he would react. He probably explode even bigger than Eric probably. Because he said he will flip out if somebody cheats. I just imagine what will happen to that part. Which here in Dirty Work, he plays the homeless man here, and he was like, "Give us $2 and we'll do something with these bodyguards and all that." So they go inside, they strike the bodyguards. Those 2 go upstairs. They try to talk to Shooter McGavin, and he was like, "I lied. That's not my place. I did it on purpose. I'm not giving you no fucking money. Get the fuck out of here." So they get thrown out again, same way. And the homeless people are back sent outside again, all 3 of them. Then the middle guy, like I said, Jim Downey, played the judge in Billy Madison. He started talking all this sad stuff about he lost his house, all that stuff, and Norm gave him the $2. Here's the $2, and he just walk away. That was his scene in there. So then Norm decides he go visits the girl he likes, and she's pissed off at him because of what the shit he did, and she'll mad that he wanted to do it for the money, but she let him finish, so she told him to fuck off. The next scene, they go, to visit, well, his dad in the hospital again. And, Norm decides to tell Artie about it. But his father decides to tell Artie instead. Artie's like confused, like, what's going on here? What? Then, Artie's dad told him that I'm Norm's dad too. He's like, he doesn't even believe it. He call it bullshit until he shows him the locket. He looks into it. He's like, well, what the hell's this? What's going on here? Is it you're fucking Norm's mom? He's like, where's mom? You cheated on mom? He was like, no, she was holding the camera. And freaking Artie. Then Artie thinks Norm lied to him and shit. Norm wanted to tell him in the first place, but Artie didn't believe it, and he's like all jealous about it because I guess Artie like wants more of the attention from his dad, but now they're brothers. He's like upset about that because he wants more of the attention or some shit. He said, "It's better now. I only have one father. Now you're gonna take that from me. Stay away from me." Now he was mad at him too. Now the girl he likes and him mad at him. Then freaking Norm had a lot of bad luck. now he can't get in this place because the guy who owns it locked up on him. And those goons showed up from the bar scene from before. Which, yeah, I forgot to talk about that bar scene. That's where Chris Farley was in there too. Rest in peace to Chris Farley. He was there also in the movie. He has like a bitten off nose because that Chinese lady bit his nose off, his ex-girlfriend. Which he gets back with later on in the movie. We'll talk about that later. And he was there, you know, he was playing some games and shit. He was getting a fight with other guys. And there's like one scene, they're at the frat boys' place. And they decided to pull a prank on the frat boys. It's the same guys that was at the bar. So I get back at them and make them be a real cops and shit. They haven't beating up real cops and they get in trouble. So they pull that prank easily well with that. Then now they're gonna beat him up again. Now the frat boys, they show up right to a dirty workplace and beat up Norm and throw his ass in the dumpster. Then friggin' Norm went to the bar and hang out with Chris Farley, and Chris Farley's like trying to cheer him up. And Chris Farley wanted him to come live at his place. I forgot, he said some weird shit or something like that. He was like, "No, I'm not gonna come live with you in your place." Norm told Chris. So now Norm decided to sleep in his car, and this guy breaks in his car and steals his radio, and Norm pops up and scares the robber. He's like, Norm tells the robber, "Look, buddy, I'm trying to sleep here." And then the guy leaves stealing his radio. So he just go back to sleep. He decided, you know, take out his recorder out and plays this note to self stuff. And finds out that Christopher McDonald, you know, got Christopher McDonald on tape saying shit about, you know, getting those boys in trouble and stuff like that. And now he has something to get back at him now. So now he goes back to the place where, you know, Artie's acting like a retard, slamming his fat ass into the cage, trying to get in. And Norm's like, "What the hell are you doing?" The homeless guy's still sitting outside, the three of them. So the two decide that now they have a plan to get back at Christopher McDonald's character now. But first, they started to like reminisce about the past and stuff like that, of them being brothers. Talk about his sister, Artie's sister, and Norman actually was messing with Artie's sister. And turns out he had sex with Artie's sister. And they're like, okay, let's stop reminiscing the past now. Let's stop talking about the past. Because that's pretty freaky. Which he didn't know. He didn't know that he had sex with his own sister. So, Sweet Home Alabama. So next scene, they decided to hire all these people back. They did back to him, doing dirty work against him. They decided to hire all these people to get back at Christopher McDonald, which it was his idea in the first place. So they decided, you know, to do this whole play and whatnot. I think they did this whole play. I think they did like a whole play or something. I think I remember. You know what? Actually, no. They decided to sabotage the play and decided to steal up people's costumes while they feed them, you know, those brownies they ate before, which, you know, causes a lot of side effects and whatnot. So they get them the brownies, and the guys supposed to do the play and stuff like that, and all their bodies started acting crazy and stuff after eating the shit. And they got all these people, they got these prostitutes, they even brought their dad too in a wheelchair wearing his gown from the hospital. He's like, "Oh, I can't wait, all these prostitutes." They're about to get this man a heart attack. No more heart transplant anymore. So the first thing they do to ruin Christopher McDonald's opera, they decide to get, you know, Artie and Norm's dad on the stage and chase around the opera lady around, saying he wants to like bang her and shit and whatnot, saying all this funny shit. He's wearing his freaking gown from the hospital, like chase her. That shit's fucking hilarious. Then freaking Norm comes out and starts like talking to Christopher McDonald and all that shit. So, "Oh, hey, where you going, buddy? You gotta get past these prostitutes and shit. You want to try to get through here." And he's like all scared and shit. And he decided, you know, to get him back and shit. He decided to blackmail him with a tape recorder. And Artie gets freaking Chris Farley's crazy ass to take out the skunks out there while he's, you know, acting all wild and shit. See all this crazy shit. He gets the skunks out and the skunks spray everywhere and shit. And then it goes like havoc. Like everyone starts running out of the freaking out of the opera and shit. And like it like ruined this whole thing and shit. And then, yeah, so yeah, he blackmails him, and he decided, Christopher Nolan decided to write $50,000 because now the reporters show up and stuff like that. He's like, you're not right now before I'm in big trouble or something. So get into that, and then the guy comes out, the guy who owns the whole building that Norm destroyed and stuff like that. He comes out and he punches Christopher Nolan in the stomach because he one that did it. And then he gets $50,000 to Dr. Chevy Chase, so he put it for the heart transplant for his dad and stuff like that. And going to try to play the tape, but he ends up playing his note to self stuff, saying all this crazy shit on there. Then he plays Christopher McDonald's thing, and Christopher listens to it and all that. And freaking then later that Christopher McDonald decides to grab it and destroy it and shit. The thing is, it's already on the screen already. And they play another one of those note to self that Norm has. He said something about warts and stuff like that. And then those two started fighting each other. They fall right off the balcony and shit onto the big lady. He was like, "You all right? Yeah, keep your crazy old man away from me." Freaking Jack Warden comes out of nowhere trying to bang the lady and shit. He used to tell Norm, get your own broad. This is my broad and shit like that. And then now Christopher McDonald's going to jail. Christopher McDonald tried to tell the guy to cancel that $50,000 to go into that doctor, but he was hallucinating those brownies. So he imagined Christopher McDonald as a hot, sexy lady want to have sex with him. He was like, absolutely. Say, good, I can count on you, Christopher McDonald said. Even though he didn't know he was hallucinating that brownie, so he puts in jail. He doesn't know where his dog at, but his dog's getting humped by a skunk. So, yeah. After that, freaking Chris Farley got this Trans Am and shit. He's back with that Asian girl that bit his nose off. But she still ends up biting his new nose off, and then there we go again. I get a new nose. He's like, "Ah, you bit off my new nose!" That whole shit is funny as fuck. But man, this movie is comedy gold, man. This whole movie is fucking comedy gold. It sucks we never had a second one. Well, Norm Macdonald was thinking about it before he died. He was thinking about making a sequel to this film, but he couldn't figure out how to write the script of the film back in 2018, 2019. He tried to figure out what to do with it, but he couldn't figure it out in time. But it was good, though. The first one, this is a fucking comedy. If any of you haven't seen this movie, you gotta go check this shit out, man. This is Norm Macdonald's best movie. He never had any other main role in films like this, because he wrote this, and his best buddy, Bob Saget, directed this film. So, guy from Full House, he directed this film. This is a classic film. Besides this, he did like other shit like Mike Tyson's Mysteries. He voiced a pigeon. He was funny as fuck voicing a pigeon. He voiced a dog and Dr. Doolittle. Like, he always voiced animals for some reason. I never understand it. He always voiced animals. But it's funny as fuck. He voice animals, he says like a lot of funny shit. Especially Pigeon. Pigeon's a classic, man. Pigeon's like the best character of the show besides Mike. And I just remembered that Jack Warden, the guy who plays their father in this movie, he was actually in Problem Child also. He played the grandfather of the kid, of the bad kid, and he was the father of John Ritter in that show. That movie I meant. I just realized that's Jack Warden from Problem Child. I was like, oh, it's Jack Warden from Problem Child. I just realized it. So he was funny as fuck in that too. He played the grandfather. He owns like a big ass business or something like that. He was funny in there too. I think he played in two of them. He was in the first and the second. He was like in the first and second Problem Child films. He was funny as hell. So he's a funny old guy. He was, Oh yeah, Jim Downey. I just realized I was looking up something up on the computer about Jim Downey, the guy who was in this movie, and Billy Madison. He wrote like 30 seasons of Saturday Night Live. He wrote like 30 seasons of it and shit. And also, he's related to Robert Downey Sr. That's right. He is the uncle of Robert Downey Jr. The guy who plays Iron Man and shit. I was like, holy shit, he's the uncle of Iron Man. I was like, holy shit. I just realized that because his last name is Downey. I was like, oh, so Robert Downey Jr., his uncle is a guy who writes Saturday Night Live. I was like, holy shit, he's related to Robert Downey Jr.? He's his uncle, man? He's the uncle of Robert Downey Jr.? That's crazy. That makes a lot of sense. because Robert Downey Jr. was in comedies like Back to School, Due Date, some other shit too. Robert Downey Jr. is pretty funny in comedies too. He's pretty funny dude with comedies. Besides him playing Marvel films, being a superhero, Iron Man and shit. He actually pretty funny. Especially in Due Date, that was a really funny film. Maybe I'll review it with Due Date one day or something like that. That's a pretty funny ass film. It's like a modern planes, trains, and automobiles with Steve Martin and John Candy. But Zach Galifianakis in Due Date with Robert Downey Jr. Those movies, that movie is funny as shit. Due Date. But this shit is comedy gold. You're missing out on this film, Like I said, I was doing this for a tribute to Norm, because Norm's like one of my favorite comedians. That's why I did his review on this movie. I wish he had more main roles like this. It's like Norm Macdonald never actually got the appreciation he deserves for movie roles for some reason. Yeah, he was appreciated in Saturday Night Live. He's appreciated in Adam Sandler films and stuff like that. He's like, for some reason he never get any other main roles for some reason. Like, this guy is a comedy genius. For some reason he never gets any more big roles after this film. Maybe he did, but I never watched any of it. I'm not sure. I think this is his only main role film, I think. Because I've never seen any of his other ones at all, to be fair. But yeah, I find that very strange. So rest in peace to Norm, though. That sucks. He's a funny ass dude.